I feel like a sweaty mess. I've had to shut all the windows because they're doing roadworks outside my flat. But it's fucking boiling hot. Hey guys, I'm Major Owie and welcome back to a haul video. I'm really sorry that I disappeared for such a long time. The last video I uploaded was in May. Yeah, I sort of just disappeared and there is a reason for that. If you want to find out, please click the link down in the description. There is a video just explaining what's been going on with me. I said on my Instagram ages ago that I would make a video about it, and well, I said I was going to make a post about it, but I'm going to make a video about it talking about what's going on with me. But today that's not why we're here. We're here to catch up with the haul that I have got since the last haul video, which was back in May. Was it April? I can't remember. I haven't made a haul video in a long time, basically, and this is just sort of a catch-up kind of thing. So yeah, there's quite a fair bit this time. I haven't actually counted, but there's a fair bit. But do keep in mind this is stuff I've accumulated over the last, what, 4 months? So yeah, I originally was going to make a video at the end of June, and that just fell through the floor because I was tired, and again, the video in the description will go into that. Let's get started, shall we? Let's get started as we normally do. Let's get started as we normally do with some light novels. First off is Combatants Will Be Dispatched, Volume 1. I really enjoyed the anime, and I started picking up the light novel and the manga, as you'll see later on in the video. Unfortunately, I think the voice acting is what made me love the anime, so I couldn't really get into this. I might give it another shot, but hey ho. And then next up, we got a series that has basically become my obsession. As you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of the manga, but I really like the anime, and that is 86, and I have collected the first 3 books of it, and I'm currently reading book 3. This is where most of my time with reading has been going. I really enjoy 86. If you liked Iron-Blooded Orphans, you would really like 86. My favourite thing that I saw on Twitter was that Sato Sato, the author of this, said to anime original fans, or anime only fans, don't read the prologue of Volume 1 because it provides spoilers to the end of Season 1, or the first half of the season. And then A1 Pictures go and fuck that up anyway with the reveal poster, one of the posters for it, and it's just like, that's just going completely against what Sato Sato said. Because in the PV, they have completely avoided showing certain characters, but then they've just got this promotional image. Why? Why go through that? But yeah, I've got the first 3 books, and it is actually really, really good. And you can see why it won an award. It'd be interesting if I could read this in its original native language, but I can't. I'm trying to find Volume 4, but it is out of stock everywhere. I managed to find Volume 5, but obviously I didn't pick it up because I don't want to spoil myself, so yeah. I am way ahead of the anime at this point. Moving on to the manga, let's get on with some series that I already collected volumes of in the past, and these are just adding on to those series. So starting off, we have Blood Blockade Battlefront Volume 3. I am not picking up any more of this series, I'm sorry. As much as I love it, Volume 4 goes for like £90. I don't have that kind of money to spend. Like I said, 4 months. That's not a whole lot for 4 months usually. But yeah, no, I don't have the kind of money to spend with this series, so unfortunately Dark Horse have done a very limited run of it. What a surprise. And then I have completed the series with the next series, and that is Astra Lost in Space. So I've got Volume 3, Volume 4, and Volume 5. I haven't read past Volume 2, I've only read up Volumes 1 and 2. It's for a series that's only 5 volumes long, they've got very long chapters, and it's like one of those ones where you have to sit down and take your time with it. I mean, just look at the size of Volume 5, it is a chunker. Volume 4 is about the size of a normal volume. It is a chunker. So, I'd say that's about the same size as the final volume of Rosario Vampire, actually. Then next up, we've got The Hero is Overpowered but Overly Cautious, Volume 2, and I think Volume 3... Oh, my books. Next up, we've got The Hero is Overpowered but Overly Cautious, Volume 2. I think Volume 3 is out at the moment, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I really, really enjoy this series. I think it's so funny. The anime was really, really good, and I hope we get a second season, but the way it ended, it ended in a way that I'm happy that it ended. But yeah, the art's really good in this manga series. It's got the same visual presentation as the anime did. I'm pretty sure this is very, very far behind on the light novels, let alone the anime. I think it's very far behind on the anime as well, because I think volume 3 only goes up to a certain point. But this series is really quite funny, and I suggest you read it. Then next up, we've got a series that I haven't collected a single volume of since 2014. People seem to like to hate on this series. I am indifferent to it. I love this series because it's fun. I don't think it's a very well written story, but I enjoy it for what it is, and I think it's good fun. And that's my personal take on the author as well. I think the author is, he loves what he's doing. Like, the man gets told to take a break. Like, that's how much he loves his work. And that is Fairy Tail. And I've only picked up the next 4 volumes that I was missing, so it's volume 13, volumes 14, 15, and 16. I picked these up from a shop in Birmingham actually, called Tokyo Toys, and if you don't know what Tokyo Toys is, it's a very popular anime manga merchandise kind of store in the UK. I'm pretty sure they've got one in Glasgow, and I know they've got one in Birmingham. I think they've got one in London as well, I'm not entirely sure. But it's a really, really cool little shop, and the people that staff it are nerds of anime and manga themselves. Some of the stuff they do video games as well, and they sell Gunpla and stuff, and it's a really cool little shop. Especially the one in Birmingham. If you go there, you really should. If you get a chance, just go there. But yeah, volumes 13 to 16. I'm hoping to pick up some more of this series before it goes out of print again, because these 4 volumes were originally really difficult for me to find online, and hopefully I can pick them up, like I said, before they disappear. Sticking on the trend of Hiro Mishima works, we've got Eden Zero, volume 11. I still haven't read volumes 8 through 10, so I'm very far behind on the manga. I really enjoyed the first season. I think I wish it had been a different studio other than JC Star, but I really enjoyed the first half of the series. First 12 episodes were really, really good, and the voice acting is fantastic. What I like about Eden Zero is, compared to like Fairy Tail, it's a whole lot darker. Like, death is a thing in this series, and I think it's a really interesting concept with time travel as well. It's less about time travel, and it's more time, like the character Xiaomei says, it's more like time doesn't matter, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then lastly, to cap off Hiro Mishima, we've got Mishima's Heroes, a nice little spin-off of Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero, where all the characters come into the same world and they look at the similarities between each other. Like, for example, Haru, Natsu, and Shiki all look the same. Same goes for Rebecca, Lucy, and I can't remember for the life of me what the girl is called. I think she's called Ellie from Rave Master. So yeah, like, all the similarities between them, it's so funny. Like, they even turn around and say that Urza looks like Ellie Crimson and stuff like that. It's so good. It's a fucking riot. It's really quite funny, but it's nothing more than that. It's not a deep story, but it's like, one of the characters in it is Hiro Mishima, basically. Like, it's him who has put himself into a book, and that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way to end a little story. Very, very short, only about 7 or 8 chapters, I want to say. 10 chapters, but it's a lot of fun. Right, moving on to the newer stuff. The stuff I don't have any volumes of in my collection. If I told you there was a Final Fantasy manga that is an isekai, you'd probably laugh me out if you haven't heard of this. I picked up the first 5 volumes of Final Fantasy Lost Stranger. Now, this is a really cool story about a Square Enix worker who gets run over by Truck-kun, funny enough, and him and his sister travel to a Final Fantasy world. I want to say it's closer to Final Fantasy 14 than it is the other games. So yeah. And it's got some really, really good artwork, and the covers are really, really pretty as well. I mean, there's a lot going on in some of them, like, for example, the first volume. It's really difficult to identify all the characters, but all the characters are there, like, from the first group that they meet. And it's a really good story so far. I've only read up to volume 2, because I've only just got volumes 3 through 5. But the art is so good, and it's really, really cool. It's really nice to see an isekai of a game franchise in reality, because that's all isekais are. They're like, I wish this game was real, so I'm going to play it. going to play it, you know what I mean. Then next up, I have popped my cherry when it comes to Junji Ito. I still haven't read these yet, but that doesn't matter. I have Junji Ito works now. And I have Uzumaki, the most infamous one, the one that's getting adapted. Hopefully it is much better than the collection, because that was god-awful. But yeah, Uzumaki, Spiral into Horror, whatever you want to call it. Apparently really, really good. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to, don't worry. I wanted to find the one that has the hole in the mountains, basically, the best way I can put it. If anyone knows which book that is, please do let me know down in the comments, because I really want to read that story again, the Aokigahara Fault one. And then next up we have part of the story collection. We got Smashed. I've read the first chapter of this, the one with the girl and the bats. It was weird, but it's cool. I like Junji Ito's art style. I've always enjoyed his art style. I've never read his works, but I've always enjoyed his art style. So yeah, really nice hardbacks, both of these. The Uzumaki one was a thing when I first started getting into manga, so that shows you how far behind I've been. I got into manga properly in 2014. Next up, we got a series that I just completed for the hell of it. Like, I saw it on the shop and I was just like, sure, I'll buy it. And that's Scrap Princess, volumes 1 to 3. I've heard good things about the anime. I haven't read this yet. Unfortunately, I can't watch the anime legally because it's not licensed over here in the UK. So at some point I'm going to sit down and read these. It's a very short series and it's done by Tokyopop. The reason why I picked it up was because it's done by Tokyopop, which I bust. This came out after the light novel. The light novel had like 15 volumes, so obviously it hasn't been fully adapted, but it'd be interesting to read it. I think it adapts the anime more than it does the manga, the light novel. The next one I picked up purely because of the design of the front cover. Because it looks so pretty, and I flicked through the book a bit and it's like, oh my god, this artwork is really pretty. I've yet to read it, and the caption at the top, I didn't even read that bit. A dreamlike odyssey that's part Studio Ghibli and part Final Fantasy. And that is Beyond the Clouds, the girl who fell from the sky. I've just picked up the first volume of this because I think that's all that's out at the moment, I'm not sure. Just the artwork is so beautiful. Just looking at that front cover, it's like a really nice watercolour. If you want an idea of what it looks like, Children of the Whales is a very similar art style to what's inside here. It's very, I don't know, it's just an aesthetic, isn't it? That's the only way I can put it. It's just aesthetics in reality, but it's so cute. It looks so cute and it looks really good. It looks really pretty. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my chompers into this one. Right, we're down to the final 8 volumes now. After hearing everyone talk about it for so long and hearing that the anime wasn't that good, I decided to pick up the manga of Quintessential Quintuplets. Only the first 5 volumes. I know there's 15. I plan to pick up the rest at some point. And that's so you've got volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, and volume 5. It's, as far as harems go, it's very... As far as harems go, it's very wholesome. Yeah, it's just a nice series about a guy who gets a job teaching a bunch of quintuplets. And it's great to theorise who he's going to end up with, but everyone knows who he's going to end up with because everyone's up to date with it, apart from me. Speaking of combatants will be dispatched. I've got the first volume of the manga. Haven't read through this one yet because I wasn't that impressed with the light novel, but I'll give it a read at some point. And then last but not least, ending off this video, we have Moriarty the Patriot, volumes 1 and 2. Really interesting take on Sherlock Holmes. I really enjoyed the first season of the anime. I used to really like Sherlock, the BBC series, so this was well up my alley. And I have enjoyed what I've read of it so far, and what I've watched of it so far. I watched the first half of the first series, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. The opening musics are something, they're a banger. Not sure how to describe it, but yeah, Moriarty the Patriot, volumes 1 and 2. And that does it. I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. Thank you for being so patient with my videos. I'm really, really sorry that I disappeared for a very long time. Hopefully it won't be that long between this video and the next video. And hopefully I will see you on the flip side. Please go check out my Instagram. I'm going to be posting there a bit more consistently now. So yeah, if you ever want to see what I'm up to, go to my Instagram, maj.aoi, or sorry, maj.aoi over on Instagram. And I will see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe and do all that junk.